Just locate the gas, commandeer your Barkov's trucks, and get off the X before the tide turns.
Copy, Watcher. We'll handle it.
Keep this on a tight loop.
Developed by Infinity Ward and published by Activision, Call of Duty Modern Warfare takes place in a realistic and modern setting. In 2019, during a covert mission to recover shipments of dangerous chemical gas headed for Urzikstan, CIA agent Alex is intercepted by unknown hostiles who kill off the Marine raiders accompanying Alex and escape with the gas. Alex's handler, Station Chief Kate Laswell, then requests the assistance of SAS Captain John Price in recovering the chemicals and de-escalating the situation with Russia. 24 hours later, a group of suicide bombers affiliated with the terrorist organization Al-Qatala attacked Piccadilly Circus in London. SES Sergeant Cal Garrick is dispatched to contain the situation with the assistance of local forces and Price. Afterwards, Alex is sent to Urzikstan to meet up with the rebel leader Farah Karim, who agrees to join forces in tracking down the chemicals, while also acquiring his help in fighting off the Russian forces stationed here, led by General Roman Barkov. The single-player campaign focuses on realism and features tactically based moral choices, where on you, the player, is evaluated and assigned a score at the end of each level. While in mission, you will have to quickly ascertain whether NPCs are a threat or not, such as a civilian woman who is believed to be reaching for a gun, but then simply grabs her baby from the crib. This collateral damage score, referred to as a threat assessment, is based on how many civilians you injure or kill and ranges from rank A to F. Character dialogue will differ depending on the choices you make, as well as some tactical decisions. If you want to play multiplayer, just know that it has been revised to allow for more tactical gameplay, including a focus on map exploration, door breaching, and a realism mode that removes the HUD or HUD. While in this mode, the mini-map has been removed in favor of a compass-style marker, with the visual cues to detect friendlies and opponents. Multiplayer features the return of kill streaks. These are rewards that are based on kills and not based on the score like in some previous Call of Duty titles. The online modes allow for a larger range of players within a map than previous installments, with a new mode called Ground War featuring over 100 players, while conversely another new mode, Gunfight, tasks two teams of 2 players against each other in small matches lasting roughly 50 seconds per round. There are also other modes such as Search and Destroy, Team Deathmatch, Cyber Attack, Domination, Free for All, and Headquarters. The Quick Play button will let you filter 5 different games you would like to play after every match. This will come in handy if you do not like leaving the lobby to choose a different game mode. Modern Warfare includes an extensive weapons customization system, presenting most guns with a range of up to 60 attachments to choose from, 5 which can be equipped at any time. Moving on to performance, I was quite happy with this title. There are many options in the graphics department that will allow you to tweak the game to your liking. So many in fact that it would be hard for me to list, so I'll put them at the beginning of each gameplay segment. I broke these up into what I call highest, high, medium, and lowest, followed up by a recommended setting. At highest, we have GPU averaging around 75.5, CPU average 77.5, and FPS averaging 49.5. The next setting we have is high, GPU average 77, CPU average 79.5, and FPS average 60.6. Looking at the previous, we gained 2 degrees for the GPU, 2 degrees for the CPU, and around 11 FPS, which is quite good. Our next setting, which is medium, we have a GPU averaging around 79, CPU averaging 87.5, and FPS averaging around 62.3. Looking at the previous again, we increased by 2 on the GPU, increased by 8 on the CPU, and FPS went a little lower this time with an increase of 2. Our next setting is lowest. We have the GPU averaging 79, CPU averaging 88, FPS averaging 75.9. Our GPU pretty much stayed the same as in the previous setting. Our CPU gained about a half a degree, 0.5, and FPS had a gain of 13, which is pretty much still impressive, especially since we have our render scale at 100%. Moving to the recommended setting that I have, we have the render scale back down to about 80%, even though our display is still set to 1920 by 1080. GPU averaged 78, CPU averaged 88, and FPS averaged 80.8. And if we compare it to our previous lowest, we lost 1 degree at 78, of course. It looks like our CPU stayed the same, and we gained 5 FPS. In my opinion, this is great. We see a continuous increase in every setting we chose. Temperature was in check, and there was no need to undervolt or switch my fan profile from auto to high. One thing to note is that you will see a small decrease in FPS while playing Ground War, since there is a lot going on and the maps are bigger. Over on Metacritic, the game does not have a score yet at the time of this video, but looking at the ones available, it's pretty good. Some users are not liking the game because of some of the propaganda and various other subjects, which gives it a user score of 3.4. As for the consoles, the PS4 has a score of 86, with the user score looking very similar to the PC version. The Xbox version, like the PC version, does not have a score yet, but like the previous two, the user score is pretty low. Wrapping up, I feel this is a decent addition to the Call of Duty franchise. I've played every one of them, and this does not disappoint. It's obvious that they may have ran out of ideas and thought it would be better to reboot or reuse the name of one of the most loved titles in the franchise instead of making a new title. In doing so, they took what is popular in today's games and incorporated some of them in it. Games such as the Ground War is very similar to Battlefield, in which you can drive vehicles and control checkpoints. Some of the other modes have been in the franchise since its initial release, so it would be better to just visually improve on those. Adding filters was a good move, and best of all, the ability to play against others on different platforms. There are some other things I like about the game, such as no season pass, but I'm sure there's something up their sleeves that we do not know about just yet. I did have some problems with the game, such as using my Call of Duty account and having it showing wrong names and email with no way of changing it. I was able later to get the issue resolved, but it was a headache in doing so. There was also this issue I had with the downloading of textures every time I started the game. And lastly, there was some lag while the game was at the menus along with the start of a match. I have not played too far into the campaign, so I can't comment on the propaganda that so many are upset about. I do know that it's not that long, and neither is any other Call of Duty campaign. And if you are new to the franchise, you will not have to have played any of the previous titles to understand what's going on in the campaign. On the multiplayer side of things, death comes quick and sometimes cheap, but that's the way the game has always been. It's run and gun with spray and pray for luck, and when you really get good, you'll feel like a one-man army. All the visuals look really nice, as well as music and sound effects, and have been improved since the earlier titles. It performs well on lower-end hardware such as the Acer Nitro 5 with the 1050 Ti. Again, all temps were in check and there was no need to undervolt. I think this makes an all-around great game to kill some time with on a weekend along with some friends. Let the trash talk begin. If this video helped you, feel free to like and subscribe. If you would like to know the hardware I am using, I have them listed in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Meanpooh, out.
Step it up. Ready for deployment. Jaguar 3-0 en route for enemy cluster strike incoming. Shield turret online. Enemy personal radar online.
Enemy in the compound.
Securing B.
Contact!
Enemy at the bridge.
Personal radar ready for deployment.
Go spot him. Back down! Fire!
Enemy UAV online.
Contact!
Enemy turret online. Enemy at
Contact!
the windmill.
I'm hit! Reloading!
Be advised, enemy personal radar active. Be advised, enemy personal radar active. Allied cluster strike inbound.
Enemies in the
Danger
area.
close.
Target down!
Cluster strike available.
Copy. Jaguar 3-0 en route for personal radar coverage.
Friendly UAV. Allied cluster strike inbound. Danger close.